All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Masthead Brewing Company, and they are out of Cleveland, Ohio, and this is their IPA for aliens. So this is a West Coast-style IPA that comes in at 7.2% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review, and this can is approximately 2.5 weeks old. So recently, I took another day trip to Mentor, Ohio, and while I was there, I hit up Red Wine and Brew, and I got like 8 to 10 different beers that I've never had before, or I wanted to try again for reviewing purposes. Most of them are big barrel-aged beers, but I did grab a couple hop-forward beers and a couple lower ABV beers, and this was one of them. Why did I grab this one? Well, outside of the name being fantastic, I remember seeing this one on Instagram as being released for their 8th anniversary. Now, their 8th anniversary was, I believe, on Saturday, February 1st. I think it was Saturday, February 1st. And they posted like all the beers leading up to it on Instagram, what they're going to release. And I saw this one. I was like, hey, I recognize that one. Then I saw how fresh it was. It was like just over a week old when I grabbed it. So I was like, I'm going to give it a go. Then I read the back, and I'm happy I picked it up. So it says, Great American Beer Festival 2024 Bronze Medal winner. Dry, bitter, and excessively hoppy, this India Pale Ale is brewed for the aliens among us. So I looked it up, and there were 292 entries into the West Coast IPA category at Great American Beer Fest last year, and this came in third. I think that is absolutely amazing. Also, on their Instagram, they did post the hops they're using. So in the Whirlpool, they're featuring Dorado Salvo, Cryo Citra, HBC 586, which I think is now known as Crush, Nectaron, and 2B, which is an experimental hop from West Coast Hop Breeding and B&D Farms. And then they double dry hopped it with a Citra, Nectaron, HBC 586, aka Crush, once again, 2B, and a kiss of Simcoe. So a lot going on in this one. I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm here for it. Let's crack this one open, get it into the glass, and see what we got going on here. I really like Masthead beers, especially their hop-forward ones have been really good of the ones I've had. I'm using the North Park glass because we're talking about a West Coast IPA that is supposed to be very good. Hey, North Park, I don't have any Masthead glassware, so we're going to give it a pour here into the glass. And I'm hoping this, is quite tasty. I've been really craving West Coast IPAs and West Coast beers more nowadays, so I'm hoping that this really hits the spot. I know a couple good friends of mine, like Curtis, for example, who is in Ohio. He might have to seek this one out. If he sees it, I would recommend him to pick it up anyway, but as is, let's let you guys look at that. So it has a very gentle haze. You can probably see my hand. You can see me through it, so it has a very gentle haze, but it has a good clarity. Just over a finger of an off-white, I'd say soap sudsy looking head. Very good carbonation. Let's see if I do something like that. No? Can't really see through it like that. Through the back, yeah. How about through the sides? You can see the carbonation, but I will say how it looks on camera is precisely how it looks in person. It has that like golden straw color, maybe slightly darker, more to the golden side of things, but it looks absolutely fantastic. Let's get a nose. When I cracked it, I could smell it. That little cheat I had off the can, I could taste it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So based on the nose alone, this is the definition of like a new school West Coast IPA, or as some California breweries like Green Shake will call them, like a Californian IPA. Like this is definitely new school West Coast IPA. So a lot of huge fruity goodness. I'm getting an immense amount in this one specifically of stone fruits. There's apricot, there's nectarine, there's peach, there's mango. It's just running wild, like Hulkamania in the 80s. There's this nice, dank, earthy, almost like floral aspect to the hops as well. A very clean kind of malt character. Like it just has like this nice white bread, like I'd say freshly baked white bread, but it doesn't have like a toasty thing going on, but just like it smells like a fresh loaf of white bread. Yeah, dank, piney, and floral on top of it. Maybe a touch of like a passion fruit or a guava. Citrus zest, lemon zest for sure, maybe a little orange zest. This smells like it's 2.5 weeks old. It smells so fresh. And if I'm being 100% honest with you guys, this rivals some of the IPAs that I've had from, say, North Park or Green Cheek, as far as the intensity in the nose. Like this is like just hop saturation in the nose. I'm hoping it carries over to the taste as well, but it's making my mouth water. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Oh, this might be a little bit too fresh. And I don't even mean that from like a hop burn perspective. Now, if we're talking a hazy, 2.5 weeks old, sometimes you get the hop burn where, you know, you get that kind of burning sensation on the back of the palate, going down into the throat, into the chest. This has that kind of numbing sensation you get from, at least I've gotten in the past from really fresh West Coast IPAs or like old school American IPAs, where it kind of numbs the palate a little bit. This is incredibly fresh, but it's actually quite flavorful. 7.2%, the body's like medium, which is nice. The mouthfeel, it has a nice like moderate carbonation, very crisp on the palate. Like I said, it's just, I know it sounds stupid, but it smelled clean. It's very clean on the palate too. A little bit of a lingering kind of bitterness on the palate, but it's very clean. Like the fermentation, everything about it screams very a cleanliness to it. It's actually quite refreshing despite the big, bold bitterness as well. Taste. Right up front, that white red dives underneath the palate with me the entire way, but never steps in the way. More citrus heavy than the nose was indicating. I was saying stone fruits. This is citrus heavy. A lot of orange zest, lemon zest, a little bit of like an over-ripened kind of like ruby red grapefruit, a touch of juiciness from the citrus as well. After that, though, gobs and just tons of stone fruit. In order, I'd probably go apricot, nectarine, and peach. There's not as much mango, but it's very heavy with those three fruits. A touch of that passion fruit I was getting in the nose, a touch of guava, maybe even a little bit of like a lychee. You could even say maybe a little bit of pineapple. A lot of stone and tropical fruit for sure. On the finish, it has that floral, piney kind of bitterness. It's quite resinous, but there's also a dankness that's associated with it. Finishes bone dry with a moderate to a touch over moderate bitterness as well. So this is more bitter and dry. They say right on the back, dry, bitter, and excessively hoppy. Yes, super dry, quite bitter, and that excessively hoppy little tagline they put there, that's where like the numbing sensation, and I know that sounds terrible, but it just means for me in a beer like this, it's super fresh, but like the sides of the tongue have like a numbing sensation, a little bit in the back of the palate, but it's not hop burn, it's a little bit different, just like probably the dry hopping, they hop it with so many hops or whatever they're doing here. It's definitely a rarity for me to say that on the channel, but it's definitely noticeable. The 7.2%, almost not noticeable. Like I said, it's medium body, so you can't tell from a body perspective. The intensity to the hop flavor in this one, though, without question, would scream to me closer to a double IPA, but the body does not. So the alcohol is well hidden for 7.2%. What I would say about this one as a whole, this is extremely well done. I think if I gave this another week or two, this would be top tier, like, again, very North Park-esque. I can see why this won a bronze medal out of almost 300 entries at GABF 2024 in the West Coast category. Like, this is very reminiscent of a lot of those great California breweries. I mean, I gotta call a spade, and as you guys know, you come here, you get honest reviews, and honestly, this is fantastic. If you are a West Coast IPA fiend and you're in Ohio or wherever you can get Masthead distro, if they release this again, and they probably will, based on what I'm going to tell you after I rate it, if you can get your hands on a can of this, or you've had it before, let me know. Post in the comments section. This is up there. This is up there. This is everything I think new school West Coast IPA lovers enjoy. It has all that fruity, great characteristic that you expect out of a beer like this. Like, it definitely brings that to the forefront. But then it has the old school piney, very bitter, very dry kind of quality you expect out of an old school West Coast IPA. I mean, obviously the malt bill is more new school, where it's just kind of, a little bit of breadiness kind of carrying the hops. But man, this is delicious. So a Masthead's IPA for aliens. I am going to give this one a pretty high score because it deserves everything it's going to get here. I'm going to give this a low 4.5 and go 4.45. This is fan-fucking-tastic. I love this. It's so damn good. Yeah, it's damn good. So 4.45 for IPA for aliens. Price point availability. This is where it gets even better. When I was talking about North Park, and I mentioned, I think, Green Cheek, and you could say a lot of other California breweries, if you're at a big state, but even more so like a big city within those states, a lot of, IPA, West Coast IPA at 7.5% can be $16, $18, even $20 a 4-pack. $11.99. And I think I paid $3.10 for that can, but on their website, $11.99 for a 4-pack. Talking $3 a can. That is insane for something that has this quality. Clearly a bronze medal winner, which is, yeah, I can see, like I said, I can see why. But just tasting this and how fresh it is, and I know it's only 2.5 weeks old, so of course it should be fresh, but like I feel like you could drink this in another month and it'll still be kicking ass. So I can't get over that price point. $3 a can, $11.99 a 4-pack. Yes, 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 yes. Availability, it's Masthead, so wherever you see Masthead, you should see this one. I think they get throughout Ohio. I don't know if they get much outside of the state of Ohio. I don't know if they get on like Tavor or any kind of websites or anything. Whenever I go to Red Wine and Brew and Mentor, I always look for their stuff, whether it's a big barrel aged beer or something like this. And as far as like the availability of this beer specifically goes, they released this 3 times in the past year. They released this one in March of last year. I don't want to say it's the first time, but that's when I first saw it. Then they released it for Great American Beer Fest to enter it, and then they just released it again for their anniversary. So they've released it at least 3 times in the past year. I don't know if this is like year round or they're just mentioning when fresh batches are. It was available on their website as I'm reviewing this. You could still, I think, pick it up at the brewery. Whatever the case may be, if you're in Cleveland or you're in Ohio and you like West Coast IPAs, check this one out. Otherwise, you're doing a disservice to yourself, in my opinion, especially for the price point. Like, if I had to buy an entire 4-pack of this, let's say I never had this before, but I knew of the quality, I would easily bought a 4-pack there and probably shared a couple cans with friends. So it is well worth it. So anyway, again, if you've had this one before, please post in the comment section. It's such a crisp and clean, yet very intense West Coast IPA that if you're in Ohio and you're a fan of like old school, like a Headhunter from Fatheads or a White Raja from the Brew Kettle, beers like that, even Bodhi from like Columbus Brewing Company, this one's a little bit more of like a little, again, the malt character is a little bit dialed back and not as like robust as those, just kind of carrying the hop. But if you like those types of beers, seek this one out. I think you'd love it. Anyway, I'm going to shut this one down. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.